What up, y'all? It's your man Sam, and here at Viral Hip Hop News. Go ahead and hit that like button. Smash that notification bell, and if you're not subscribed to Viral Hip Hop News, ladies and gentlemen, what are you waiting for? Subscribe right now to the brand. Appreciate each and every one of y'all, and let's get to work. All right, Stephen A. Smith has been taking heat like crazy the last couple of days after seemingly defending Cowboys owner Jerry Jones after a photo leaked of Jerry Jones at about 14 to 15 years old, and a mob of white boys, angry white boys, blocking some black students from getting into school out in Little Rock, Arkansas, back in the day where segregation and desegregation was at its highest point, at a boiling point. So we obviously know what the temperature was during that time. A photo leaked. I wonder who that was. Hail to the Commanders. You know what I'm saying? But obviously people in the sports world were going to give their opinion. Stephen A. gave his opinion, and black Twitter, the black culture, people on social media in the black community went absolutely crazy at Stephen A. Smith. This isn't the first time that they've called this man out of his name, calling him a coon, calling him a Sambo, calling him a sellout. We've heard all of the names being given to one Stephen A. Smith. Well, shout out to Dallas pastor, Fredrick Haynes, who went absolutely in on Stephen A. Smith. I'm going to play that clip, but I'm also going to play, because Stephen A. Smith obviously has heard all of the chatter that has been going on about him. He's responded to all of the backlash. He's responded to the coon terms. He's responded to the sellout claims. He's responded to it all. So I'm going to play the clip of Dr. Fredrick Haynes and how he feels about the situation. Then I'm going to play Stephen A. Smith's reaction to this entire ordeal, and then I'll wrap it all up with my 1-2. Let's go.
Years old in Arkansas, and I saw these traumatized black kids, and I decided to just stand there out of curiosity instead of getting involved and making a difference in their situation. I know I'm about to upset all my Cowboy fans, but the real test of your privilege is how you use your privilege for those who do not have privileges. The real test of what God has blessed you with is how you use your blessing for those who are broken. And one person decided, and y'all, I know Stephen A. felt, I got to get up and I got to speak up for Master Jerry. I got to defend Jerry. Now, what got me upset was not that he just defended Jerry. He said, I'm ticked off about what was done to Jerry, but he wasn't ticked off about what Jerry stood by and watched. Why weren't you ticked off about that insufferable scene? Why weren't you ticked off about what happened to those black students who some are still living today? You're not ticked off about
like
that.
This. But I felt compelled to do so. One can only be called a sellout and a coon and all of this other stuff, but so much, before you feel compelled to respond, particularly when you're a black man. Normally, I wouldn't do that. I might have a comment here, there, and then move on. It's not like I lose sleep over this. I love when people try to define blackness and act like they got, they got ownership papers on it. You get to define and decide who's black and who's not and all of this other stuff. But certain things need to be spoken about, because you see, I have a 2-hour television show every weekday. I'm live on the air of First Take on ESPN every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to noon. That's 10 hours a week. I'm a co-host on NBA Countdown. It's on twice a week. I've got NBA and Stephen A's World. That's on sporadically, about 8 to 10 shows a year. And I've got this podcast, which I own. I'm in control of the content. I decide what subjects we gonna tackle and what we'll avoid. When you consider that level of reach, do you know what the hell I could do if I wanted to every day? I could be indecent. I can be vicious. I could be somebody that just doesn't give a damn. Contrary to what folks may want to think, I've never been that dude. Yeah, I might talk about your game. I might talk about an act that you committed. But what I never do is engage in character assassination and believe that I have a license to use whatever moment I want to use to define who you actually are. I don't do that. Now, if a preponderance of evidence based on repetitive behavior gives an indication of what your character may be, okay, that's different. But I'm not going to go off an incident and try to castigate you and demonize you and what have you. That's just not my MO. Now, I made news earlier last week, and certainly people didn't accord me that luxury. Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, is somebody I purportedly came to the defense of. I didn't view it that way, but if y'all want to label it that way, so be it. Jerry Jones is 80 years old. There was a report, an article in the Washington Post where they were talking about Jerry Jones and how much he could do because of his cachet, his influence, his power in the #1 sports league in all of America, if not all of the world, although some people would say real soccer is bigger than the National Football League, which is a form of soccer, or football rather, because soccer in Europe is football and it's football here in America. That's the National Football League. That's what football is in America. But the NFL is so big. Lately, as of recently evidenced by Germany when Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers showed up and 70,000 packed the house and all of this other stuff, and there was games in Mexico and all of this, people were talking about how Jerry Jones has this influence, such profound influence that he could influence racial tendencies in a positive way in the National Football League, meaning the hiring of black coaches, the hiring of black executives, et cetera, et cetera. And in that same article, there's a picture of Jerry Jones standing in a crowd, a hostile crowd, to say the least, that was opposed to desegregating schools in Little Rock, Arkansas. Ladies and gentlemen, the year was 1957. Jerry Jones was 14 years old, or according to one other report, 15 years old, when this happened. And my position was, wait a minute, you gonna pull up a picture of a 14-year-old kid and use that to denigrate him? When the picture was a still picture of him standing in the crowd and looking. That's the reason that we want to sit up there and assume anything about Jerry Jones. I'm not that guy. Is it plausible to believe that he was one of the people trying to prevent the school from being desegregated? Sure, but do we know? We do not. Did we see him throw at anybody? Did we see him spit at anybody? Did we see him commit any kind of vile act? No. That is not what we saw. And because I had the temerity and the unmitigated gall to point that out, I'm a sellout. That is exactly the problem with our community. I'm talking to the black community. White people, you want to turn podcasts off? Go ahead and do that. I'm talking to black people. You can listen if you want to, but I'm talking to black people. When are we going to learn? When are we going to wake up and stop doing this to each other? There's plenty of black folks that I've disagreed with throughout the years. I've disagreed with athletes. I've disagreed with coaches. I've disagreed with owners. I've disagreed with colleagues. I've disagreed with my family, sisters and brothers, or one brother. I've disagreed with my mama. God rest her soul. I'll be damned if I didn't disagree with my father. God rest his soul all the time. And so what? So what? I'm turning around and I'm seeing people running their mouth talking about me. You know my resume? I'm looking at my executive producer, Rashawn McDonough. I'm sorry, my brother. I got to toot my own horn for a second. I apologize. I got to do this. You watch First Take? How many black people you see on First Take? How you think they got there? I got a boss, who's an executive, top-ranking executive. Ask him what level of assistance I provided in helping his career. I got let go by ESPN in 2009. Prior to that, ask them who was in the room screaming about diversity. Look at the numbers as it pertains to diversity from that year to now. Ask them what role I played in it. Why don't you harken back to the Philadelphia Inquirer? I'll give you their names. Editor of the paper, Robert Rosenthal. Deputy editor of the paper, Butch Ward. Philip Dixon, former dean at Howard, who was an executive at the Philadelphia Inquirer. Rob King, who was a deputy sports editor at the Philadelphia Inquirer before he's at ESPN. Ask them what Stephen A's been doing. Sean McDonald's the guy that used to work with Steve Harvey. Sensational mind. Executive producer. Used to manage Steve Harvey. Been managing me. Been a friend of mine for 20 years. Yo, Rashawn, how many scholarships did we generate for HBCUs? Hasn't the number exceeded over 12,000? Hasn't the dollars exceeded over 30 million? Where y'all at? Selling out? Selling out? I'm looking out. I'm looking out. Because what you missed in my diatribe in defense of Jerry Jones was the bigger message that I was saying, which is, do we really want to open the Pandora's box where a picture can be pulled from 57 years ago to use as impetus and motivation to castigate, castrate, demonize, and characterize another human being? We really want to do that? We really want to do that? A person that was just standing there. I'm not saying what he was or wasn't doing. What I'm making a point of is we don't know. Y'all want to lean on the fact that he was born in Arkansas? That he was raised in Arkansas? That 1957 was pre-Civil Rights Act? Pre-Voting Rights Act? That's what you want to bring up? Well, who else you ready to talk about? Because he ain't the only one from Arkansas. He ain't the only one that was born around that time. He ain't the only teenager that was there. And oh, by the way, black people, you ever see a fight break out? And you were sitting there watching, standing there watching? Does that mean you were a part of the violence? Just standing there. When you saw somebody's ass get kicked and you didn't do anything, does that mean that you were an advocate of them getting their ass kicked? Did you watch the film that Kyrie Irving put a link on his Twitter page? Does that mean you're anti-Semitic? What does it mean? See, we open up a whole bunch of can of worms. But we don't look at the big picture and the collateral damage enough. Instead, we're the only group of people who questions somebody else's ethnicity when we disagree with each other. If somebody else does it, I apologize. I just don't know about it. Never heard about it. I don't hear Jewish folks accusing folks of being non-Jewish because they disagree. I hear them not liking each other's views. I don't hear them questioning their Jewish authenticity. I don't hear white people saying, you ain't white no more. I don't hear Latinos saying, you ain't Latino no more. I don't hear that. If I'm wrong, I apologize. That is not what I hear. But we hear it all the time from our own community. And I'm sick of it. I'm just getting started. I got more.
There you have it. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think of what we just heard from Dr. Fredrick Haynes as well as Stephen A. Smith. Here's what I will say real quick. I would love to hear Stephen A. Smith and someone who opposes Stephen A. Smith's position, who is educated, who's unapologetically educated and black and proud to be black, have a discussion or debate about things that go on mainstream media, and let's just talk it out and let's just hear exactly what we have to say, because I hear Stephen A. Smith answering the critics. He obviously hears what's going on in the community, and it doesn't seem as though he's afraid to discuss it or talk about it. But I would love to hear it on a platform where we can have two educated brothers just going and voicing out their opinions and voicing out their discrepancies and their disagreements and really doing some shit for real, man. That's just my thought. That's my hope. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think of the situation. Appreciate each and every one of y'all that tapped in and stuck around for this video. Go to vhiphopnews.com, the official website of Viral Hip Hop News. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Till next time, till next story, like, comment. And if you deem this video worthy enough for sharing your social media platform like you guys been doing, I appreciate y'all sharing it on your Instagram, Twitter, IG, I just said IG, but Twitch, whatever the fucking case may be. Share on your social media handles now. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Sam Ant, CEO of the brand, Viral Hip Hop News. Love y'all. Love yourselves. I'm out of here. Peace.